Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. You'll see right hand side of the screen. I just want to give a real quick shout out to my recent donations. I love you guys. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for all that you do. As we hop in today, we are hopping on board with ENVOY again. Every time I do an upload of ENVOY, everybody wants to see more. So I don't know if it's just because his slaying power or because he's always pulling off those flashy plays inside the hill. But every time I feature him, everybody wants to see more from his point of view. So let me know down in the chat down below if you want to see more of formal or if you just want me to stay uploading ENVOY, or I could always do Scum or maybe a different team also. I don't know, whatever you guys want. So just let me know down below. As we get in today, we are playing, we're playing Hardpoint on St Petrograd. They are playing against OGLA. So we haven't seen OGLA too much recently, but this should give us a little bit of a good indication in terms of what we can expect going into this next upcoming weekend, right? So the LA home series where it'll feature OGLA and LAG. We'll see what happens there. But as we go ahead and actually get into the analysis today, you'll notice top above ENVOY's head, we've got a mini map up there that I'm going to draw on every once in a while. So to begin this here, this is about to rotate back from P1 to P2. And this is something that I've been seeing a lot recently on St. Petrograd. And if your team, you guys have to adjust your strategies here. So I see this a ton where so many people try to flip so that they get spawns for this second hardpoint. So let me go ahead, let me break this down for just a second. So a lot of people are saying they don't mind that I do this. So Chicago spawned back here, and then they put like 3 people over towards P1. So inside of P1, you saw ENVOY up in this top apps area. He was able to get a few kills up off of there. And essentially, when they left that hill, they had a 50-point lead. So what I've been seeing a lot of teams do is OGLA spawned on this side of the map. So OGLA sent a lot of resources over towards the left side of the map trying to flip for P2, because essentially as it goes back to P2, they wanted to have that back spawn. So the problem is that they dedicated too many resources towards trying to flip over there, and then once they did that, it was just they just didn't have the firepower to go ahead and flip that out. So as I go ahead and hit play again, you're going to see that not only are they now down by 60 points, but they just didn't give themselves enough of a lead, or at least tie enough in that first hill, and now it's really hard to recover from this. So these last 20 seconds here, even though they did flip out, so OGLA was able to flip spawns there for just a moment. They just weren't able to lock that down. So they got about 6 seconds there. If they would have got another team kill, they would have got the rest of those 30 seconds. They just weren't able to do so. So as we're going back and thinking about this from the start, they weren't able to contest or get any time in P1, and then they weren't successful at flipping spawns for P2. So because of that, that's where you see this 96-6 lead that we're dealing with at the moment. I'm not sure what exactly is going on. It looks like my camera adjusted a little bit. I realized that I was a little bit dark, hard to see. You guys aren't watching me anyways, so whatever. So P3, as we rotate back to this side, if you're Chicago, you want to hold down mid-map. So I know that the beneficial spawn for P3 is on the left-hand side of the map, but as this rotates to P4, P5, back to P1, P2, those next 4 hard points, you want to be on the right-hand side of the map. So if you're ENVOY, man, those are some really nasty, that's a nasty 2-piece right there, and inside the hill. This is exactly what you want to do. You want to try to contest, maybe steal 10 points if you can. But last thing you want to do is just rotate and then not have spawns as it goes back to P4. That is a perfect execution as we go from there. So they were able to get 10 points. They ended up giving up like 30 points on that hill. But again, it's not a big deal, right? They're able to, essentially, they were able to steal quite a few. They didn't give up a full 60 in P3. And now that it's rotating back to P4, they have spawns, they have map control. And this is a really nice job by ENVOY. So maybe he hurt somebody above him. That's what he was trying to do with that nade. So most scenarios you would have liked to have tried to get those kills, but now that you get these those 2 people, so Quavo and JCap were trying to flank around the right hand side. Now that you got those, now you want to go ahead and you want to push out a little bit more, right? Last thing you want to do is sit back in your spawn. You want to protect P4 from mid-map, as far close to mid-map as you can. Let me go ahead and draw this real quick because I know some people are probably questioning what exactly I'm talking about, but if you're inside P4, you don't want to take those gun battles in this range right here. Because if you lose those gun battles, then OGLA is going to flank back behind you, and now they're going to have spawns for P4, and then as it moves forward to P5 and so on and so forth. So what you do want to do is you want to take those gun battles up here as close to mid-map as you can. If you can get kills in these areas right here, which you saw ENVOY doing a lot, then even if they break that, by the time you come up off spawn, now all of a sudden they have to win another team wave of gun battles, right? Because you'll come up off spawn, and now they have to win another battle there. So that's exactly what you're trying to do, is you're just trying to force those team gunfights towards the mid-map. And if you can do that, then even if you do go down, you're not giving up all that much time. As this is about to rotate into P5 towards mid-map, there's about 5 seconds left. As this is about to rotate, they still have the beneficial side that you want to have. Reason being is that if you're coming from mid-map, you can get killed from either side. Whereas if you're coming from P4 side, so the right side where you're seeing RCDs and ENVOY come up off the spawn right now, there's only one way that you have to watch as you're entering the hill, right? So I'll let this play, but essentially what I'm saying is that if you're coming from mid-map and you come through these mid doors, you can get shot from your left-hand side and from the right-hand side. So it's essentially a guess, right? It's 50-50. So if you're coming from the right-hand side where ENVOY is spawning right now, you could come in this door and they're only going to be on your right-hand side. You could come in the left side door where L is and they're only going to be in front of you. So even though this is like a 50-50 hill, right? This is one that's really hard to win. You want to be coming from this side because not only is it easier to spot your opponents and get shots on your opponents, but as it rotates back to P1 and then finally P2, so on and so forth, you guys have spawns as it moves forward. So with the last couple seconds ticking off of P5 there, so it looks like Chicago's actually spawning out. I'm just watching the minimap in the top left-hand corner, and all of those blue arrows are popping up. So let me pause this real quick just so you can see. This is just some of the stuff that I'm looking at. If you look at the minimap right here, the left side, so now I'm actually drawing on the top left-hand corner of the screen. The mini-map up there, this is P1 side. In Chicago, all these blue arrows are spawning. They're spawning out, right? They're on the wrong side of the map. So if you're looking at these arrows, a lot of these arrows are going to be pushing mid, trying to flank out this side. Now, if you're OGLA, you don't want to give up on this time in P1 in hopes of locking down spawns for P2, because if you give up all this time, now you're going to be in trouble, and it's basically a deficit that's insurmountable, right? You really can't come back from it. So that's a big kill right there from JCap. Slasher also slayed out TJ with the kill. Unfortunately, RCD's dropped formal if you're a Chicago fan. So this is exactly kind of what you want to see, is that now if ENVOY's not successful here, then this push, so trying to push out these spawns here, is going to be all for none. So not only are they giving up all that time inside of P1, but they would also not have spawns moving forward. However, again, I'm watching the minimaps as they're coming up off of spawns. It does look like they were able to flip. ENVOY came up back bar, so they were successfully able to flip. So now it's not so bad that you gave up like 50 points inside of P1, because now you're set up and you have spawns for P2, and by the time P2 is over, you're probably going to be pretty close to winning. So the one thing that I absolutely love about scrims is that we can actually hear exactly what they're talking about. So with that, I'm going to go ahead. I'm still going to chime in where I feel useful, but let's go ahead. Let's turn up the chat audio and let's get a little bit of an insight into what they're talking about.
River cross, one bullet, another one.
What? I just ran right through you.
Side dead. Front door. Inside.
I'm trying to get.
I need it front again. I need it front. I'm going blue.
In blue court.
Got me. Good job.
Got me hotel, Cap.
Trying to mess with my camera a little bit. I don't like that I was so dark for some reason.
Left.
How far? How about that? Try to go through. Play though.
Weak.
Yeah, guys, I hit left, guys.
1-0.
So right now this is a little bit different. ENVOY is leaking out a little bit early because they figure if they get the last 10 points there, it's going to be like a 228 to 130 game. So if he was able to flip there, then it wouldn't really cost you all that much because you would be able to win off of P3. So that was the thought process there. So it's not like every set of rotations, your strategy is the exact same. ENVOY was just making a little bit of an adjustment trying to win on top of P3.
Yo, he's gate dead.
I'm trying to hit right right now.
He's in the window.
He's on the heady too. Back left heady. They're flooding time.
So these are good points here. They're only 19 seconds away from winning. There's 35. So Gunless got a 2-piece. Scump and Arseny's both killed one. So they only need 12 more seconds. They could easily, and this is a perfect setup. So as they try to rush in, a 3-piece from ENVOY. Man, this is why people love to watch his point of view, because he pulls off plays like that. So he was able to watch that cross, and because of that, they're able to get the last 10 seconds here. They only need 2, 1. And that's it. So that's a little bit of a difference there on the second set of rotations. As it went into the second set of rotations, they knew that they could just win off of there, so they played a little bit more aggressive. Rather than trying to stop them from leaking out, you get this 3-piece here from ENVOY, which is trying to stop them from getting inside of P3. And if you can do that, then that's how they were able to end up closing it out on that last hill. So again, Scump with the 25 and 18, ENVOY 21 and 20. The slaying department, just real quick, let me pause this. You can see exactly what's going on. So there's been a lot of talks about DASHY running an SMG. I couldn't see there. I was so tuned in with the actual strategy, I couldn't see what he was doing there. But if he's now running an SMG and he's going 12 and 20, then that's obviously not the move, right? Because DASHY is one of the most talented ARs. I didn't see exactly what he was doing there. But if they're trying to switch it up and have him run an SMG, and Kenny can't go 13 and 22 if they want to have success. I think that these guys will figure it out. I don't know if it'll be a little bit too late. So with that, guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode. I don't know why my camera is so dark. I apologize. I got my light on as bright as it can go. It is what it is. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have any comments about this stuff whatsoever, put them down below. I love the interactions. I try to get back to everybody. A lot of people have been asking in my comments how they can become a subscriber or a part of the, they can have membership perks on mobile. That link is now in the description below. So if you want to join all those people that are joining up on my membership perks, you guys can go ahead and do that. Don't forget to leave a like before you head on your way. Thank you guys so much for the support recently, and I'll catch you in the next episode.